Full power again. Very, very nice. Hello and welcome to HobbyKing.com. My name is Stuart and I'm here to present to you a V2 version of probably one of the most popular and very, very unique Durafly models, certainly one of the most unique models on the market, that's for sure, and it is the Durafly Me-163 V2. Now in this video, this is the official flight review, so I will talk you through the changes both internally and externally to the V2 163, and then we'll take it out in a little while and give you a little flight demonstration. It's a little overcast now, it's a little bit windy, so that might not translate so well in terms of video, but in terms of performance, you'll have no problems with the 163 V2 because it loves conditions like this. And we'll get onto that in just a minute. Now changes, there has been several iterations of the 163, the original Luftwaffe scheme, camo scheme, V1, Me-163 came out maybe 5 or 6 years ago. This retains a lot of the features that had. It's lost a few, but it's also gained a few as well. Then there was the red version, and then there was the Japanese version of the J8M, I believe it was. None of those models have the changes that this V2 has, and let me talk you through those right now. Now, from the offset from the early days of the V1, it was primarily designed for this type of battery. This is the ubiquitous 2200 3S. Now, the V2 version, it will still fly on the 2200 3S, but internally it's been changed and modified to allow it to accommodate far more easily a 2200 4S. Now it could fly on those two versions before, but it was just that much more difficult to fit the 4S. The powertrain system is still the same. It is a 2200 kV 2836 Aerostar brushless outrunner, and it's got a Durafly 40 amp speed controller. And before I take the top off and show you physically what those changes mean, I'll talk about the rest of the model. So in terms of spec, it is a 950 span. It is plug and fly, and it comes with 3 servos pre-installed. So you've got the Elevon servos and the rudder, and then there's an optional magnetic release system for the undercarriage. I'll come on to why that's optional in just a second. Now in terms of assembly, it comes in a very small box and it needs just a few glue joints to get it together. The vertical stab you glue on once you've fed through the wire, and the wing halves you glue on. And once you have glued those on, you then get the wing joint tape that you then apply yourself, and that matches up pretty good to the surrounding camo. And the assembly in terms of time is probably about a 20 or 30 minute job. Of course you've got to allow time for the glue to dry as well. Then you just need to pop on the spinner and the propeller. There are 2 propellers provided in the box, which is a 6x4 propeller. That's good for both the 3S and for the 4S setup. Of course, then you just bolt your prop on and screw your spinner on. And speaking of spinner, one of the outward changes of this, it's a slightly different scheme. Before you had black 10, well, this is white 10. From the reference we managed to find online and in our reference material library, there was a version of the Komet in white 10. And the reason that we really wanted to do a different, slightly different scheme is because orientation-wise, the white really helps on the nose there, and the 10s actually really stand out. So it's pretty much a scouse scheme, and it looks very good. And for orientation, it works very well too. There is, however, a little Easter egg on this scheme. I'm not going to say anything about it, but I'm going to leave it up to you guys to find what that Easter egg is. I will say that my son loves the Me-163, and this is a little homage to him. So if you find that, do let me know directly on Facebook or on RC groups. You can find me there, and the first person to do so will get a little prize from us here at HobbyKing. Okay, so now comes the moment where I lift up the canopy and show you a little bit more inside. So with the tape that's pre-applied, you want to squeeze on the canopy sides a little bit and pull up the tape at the same time. There we go, you can see it's magnetically held. It's got a good stout tongue, if you like, at the front that really fits in nicely to the front of the canopy hatch there. And if I tilt it up, you'll see the basic layout. You've obviously got the branded reinforcing strip across the top here. That's strong plywood. That is my 2200 4S in there. I've got a small 4 to 6 channel receiver on the side, and then the Durafly 40 amp speed controller is just here. Just remember, this is a 3 and 4S setup, but the change internally, it's both benefits the installation of a 4S and also lightens the airframe. So this is the 2200 4S. Now, We'll show you in some cutaway shots now, but what we've done, we've removed the aluminium U-spar that was there before. It was U-spar shaped to allow the fitting of a battery without a spar going continually across. However, the only issue with that, it did add a lot of additional weight with that full metal part that was in there. We've now removed that. We've added a channel into the foam that allows a 2200 to very snugly fit underneath the wing, full wing spar now. So not only is it stronger, but it's lighter and it's more conducive to fitting a 2200 for us, which this V2 is really specifically aimed at. Now, the other significant change with this, and I mentioned it earlier in the video, is the magnetic release system. That is now optional, and I'll tell you why it's optional. This space here is where it would have fitted. That's where the now optional magnetic servo fits. Now, if I turn it over, I'll talk you through how the gravity-fed system works. Very simply, this is the undercarriage. It's as you recognize from the V1, except for, of course, it has been extended. That gives better ground handling, and there's another change that I'll come on to in just a second that talks about improvements in ground handling. Now, what this means is it's gravity fed. So very simply, it just as you pull up and run along the field, it just falls away. Now, the reason that we've done that, it's twofold. First of all, it saves some weight because you haven't got that additional servo, and it saves a little bit of cost savings which we can then pass on to you guys. Now, second of all, we noticed on the V1 when we were getting feedback from pilots, when they were flying and they had to think about that other thing to do, which was release the landing gear with the magnetic system, it was just another thing to think about. So we've removed that stress. We've removed the stress of doing a circuit with the undercarriage still attached and then trying to drop it over the field, and then invariably you end up falling short or overshooting. It ends up in the long grass around the field. So this will reduce the chance of you losing the undercarriage as well. But very simply, if I show you here, when you're taking off, as you feed in elevator or elevons, this just naturally drops away. I'll show you what I mean by gravity fed. If I put it back in there, it just drops away like that. Now, on smooth grass, we found that's really not been a problem at all, but if you are going to be flying on rough, bumpy grass, then you would want to consider the now optional magnetic release system. If you're worried about how to install it, don't worry, because we're going to do a ModTech Monday video a little shortly after this one to show you exactly how to fit that servo for the magnetic system. It's a very, very simple system. One thing to note, some workers were a little bit overzealous with the spraying of the undercarriage. You may need to remove some of the paint, as I have here, just to allow, and this is very important, you want that to drop freely like it's doing there. Now, with the main landing dolly removed, I will talk about the final other change, which is the tail wheel we have now added. Now, on the field, I'll try and give you a little demonstration of how this handles. What this means now is that you have a great improvement in the ground handling of the 163. You can now actually taxi this really rather well, and you've got a model that's much better in ground control because of the very simple addition of this scow tail wheel. Now, whilst we've got it up at this rear end, one of the other key features and very, very prominent and very cool features of the Me-163, you would have remembered it from the V1, it has an optional rocket system. Now, what that means is that this has been specifically designed to fit, say, an SD size rocket into the tail, and there's a channel just here as well that fits a JST MAU connector, and we have an optional RC switch that can be used on the Me-163 to activate that, and it adds a really, really cool element to the flight dynamics of the 163, giving it a very much true to scale outlook on the performance, and it looks very, very cool. We're not going to show you in this video, but later on in the edit you'll see, or if not now, you'll even see some footage of the rocket system in the original V1. It's a very, very cool feature to have. We have the switch available in stock. If you can get hold of the correct rocket that's needed and operate that safely, then you absolutely should give that a go. There'll be a full video linked underneath this to do an older video that we did showing how to install that optional rocket system. So there we have it, the V2 Durafly Me-163 with a new scheme, more high vis, improvements to the ground handling with the tail wheel, the now gravity-fed release mechanism for the landing dolly, just to take out some of the stress and worry when it comes to taking off, and of course it's a beautiful flying model. In terms of performance on the 3S, you'll get fast performance, but on the stock 4S battery that we're recommending for this, it's really, really rather ballistic. We're going to do our best to capture this on camera for you now. It is a relatively small model at 950mm, and it is fast. Now, for a pilot, that's not a problem, but just on camera, be aware that you may see a little bit of focus going in and out as our cameraman tries to track the ballistic Me-163 from Durafly V2. Let's take it out there now and we'll give you a flight demonstration of the new V2. If there's time, we will also give you a quick demonstration of 3S as well. So look out for that at the end of the video if the weather and daylight allows for it. So the wind is dropping, let's get out there and fly the new V2 Me-163 from Durafly. Okay, so here we are, we're out of the field, we've got the 4S in there, and this is the flight demonstration of the Durafly Me-163 V2. You'll see, I'll give you a little demonstration of it taxiing around on the floor, and then I'll go straight into the takeoff. You'll see that it does handle that much better on the ground now with that tower wheel and the extended main dolly. And with the gravity-fed system, you just need to apply power, correct with the torque with a little bit of rudder, and pull up on the elevator, and it will just naturally rotate off and the gear will fall away, as simple as that. So without further ado, let's take you out there and give you a flight demonstration of the Durafly Me-163 V2. Let's get it out. Now, this is of course an Elevon setup. You'll see it working, aileron, elevator, and then rudder just as normal. That's all you need to worry about. There's no additional gear switch to think about when you come to the takeoff. You need a little bit of concentration when it comes to taking off. But I'll give you a demonstration now of how it handles on the ground. Now, once you get some air flowing over it, you can actually turn. See it there bouncing along a little. The grass is a little bit bumpy now. But with some plow, I'm applying full elevator now. And I've got rudder on high rates, and I'll just be able to turn left a little bit and then swing it around here to the right. You can see, with a little bit of power, it handles rather well. Right, so I'm thinking we're looking good about there. All right, so keep in mind when you apply power, it will wander a little bit. So you can correct that once you get a little bit more speed over the rudder. Pretty much point it into wind and let it take off itself, and then hold on some elevator as you apply power. Here we go. And there you go, see the gear falls away. Full power climb out. How's that on camera?
Nice.
All right.
Keeps going, doesn't it?
It does, absolutely. Now, speed-wise, I think we're pushing 100 miles an hour for sure. We're going to cruise around first, just to get you used to the model in the air. This is about just under half throttle now. Coming by, that's at half throttle now. So super steady. Look at that. And now look at the pull-out. Full power climb out. It goes and goes. That's very much like the full size. Now, talking of the full size, it of course was a rocket interceptor, one of the only in the world to see operational use. That's a low rate roll. And it was a very, very special machine. It had this unique delta shape to it. It was a glider first before it was rocket powered. As you can see, the Durafly one glides very, very well too. But of course, being rocket powered, it had stupid amount of power, which is just what you've got here. That's high rate, if you can see that. Come down, do a fast, full power pass downwind. There we go, it's got that real nice scream that you always associate with these faster type models. Bring it around again, full power, left to right. Just listen to it. Oh, nice. It really screams, and you can really bank and yank as well if you wish. We're going to try and keep the camera somewhat wide. You can see it really, really grooves. I'm going to keep it low. There's a little bit of traffic on the pattern. Full power again. Very, very nice. Now I'm going to take it down a bit. Of course, you've got rudder, so you can still turn off the top there. Do a light roll as I come out. Very nice. Now, how's that looking on camera?
Very nice, actually.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Now, orientation-wise, we've got the white on the nose. It did have yellow in the V1. From our research, I could see that this 10 was yellow, black 10. Now it's white 10. I believe this actual airframe, if you follow the full side, has several different colors. That's why with the V1 it was yellow nose and now it's white nose. And for me at least, that white, you can see it there coming towards you. There it is. Really, really pops out nicely. All right, so now I'm going to take it up and show you guys the stall. Now, how's that on camera?
Very good.
Okay, so I'm just going to get it into wind. I'm going to slowly pull up. Bit of a black silhouette, but you'll get the
Oh, I got it, I got it.
Nose is looking high. Here comes the stall. And there, just a very, very nice gentle nod to the left there. Now, I'm all power off here. I haven't got the brake set, so I'm at proper windmilling is slowing it down a little bit more. Now I've just given it a little bit of throttle, a little bit more. Look at that. Nose high, but still very, very nice. But look at the pull out. Look at that. Fantastic. That does not get old. I'm going to roll off the top and do another high power pass.
It's just 100% unlimited, isn't it?
It is. Yes, man.
Focus couldn't keep up, but it was a good pass.
Okay, but the eyes and the fingers and the thumbs can, because it's a very, very docile machine to fly. I'm going to do a gentle loop here, just about half throttle. There it is. Now, of course, it was spectacularly performing as a full size, and I think the model very, very much does it justice. And of course, you've got that optional rocket power system if you wish to add it. It adds perhaps a little bit in terms of additional power, but it's more about the spectacle of having the fire and the smoke coming out the rear.
It sounds like a lot of fun.
It is,
to be honest.
Here we go, full power. Really, really screams. I'm going to keep it on full power. I'm using a little bit of rudder just to keep the nose up in the turn. Do some nice figure of eights. Now this is on the 2200 4S, and on this you can expect to get in excess of 7-minute flying times, even when flying like this. I'm going to pull up, and that's high rate roll. Stupid, stupid, stupid. How's that on camera?
Nice.
All right, do a big, big, big loop. Here we go, ready? Loops are as big as you want them. There we go, look at that. Oh, it's a lot of fun, and that's the thing. It's a simple model. It's only got the 3 control channels now, or 4 if you count the throttle. It's very, very well behaved, even at the faster speeds. It's rock solid throughout that speed range. And it's just great bang for buck, because we try to price it as economically as we can. Keep it slow now. The wind's died down. It will handle the wind, but just when it dies down like this, look at that. Do a really, really nice figure of 8. In the field pretty much. Bring it around, see if I can get it into a little bit of a Farnborough path, if not knife edge. So I'm going to bring it around slowly this way. Okay. There we go. Whoa, knife edging all day long. You got that?
Really? Can knife edge, yeah?
Yeah, really, really can.
Okay, color me surprised.
I'm not a good enough pilot to maintain it. So
for a scale plane.
So I'm going to bring it into land, and we'll see how we are on the pack. I expect there to be around 20 to 30%, maybe a little bit more. Let's see. This is on a 2200 4S. Remember, this is a 60C pack. Okay, here it comes. Now you just want to keep the power on a bit and then fly it onto the ground. Oh, I've overshot a bit. Flare, flare. So I'm going for a walk. There it is. Join me in just a second when I bring this model back and we'll check the battery. So safety first. Yep. Of course I've got to remember to, oh God. It's right, it's a slow fly. I've got to remember to go and get the undercarriage, which of course, with this V2, we know is out in the field. It's not out in the surrounding area. And as you can see, it worked very, very well on takeoff. So I've got my cell checker. I'll plug that in. Well, there we go. I'm at 14% there. We've just got a nitro heli startup, so I'm going to have to shout a little bit. So 14% after a 5 or 6 minute flight of really pushing it. That's really very, very good. And well, that's it. That is the Durafly Me-163 V2. The wind's dropped now, so everyone, of course, is flying. We are at a club, but that's to be expected. Great bang for the buck. Excellent performing model on 4S. Also, you can fly it on 3S if you wish, but with those modifications we made internally, it's really designed for 4S from the outset. You can see it's got the gravity-fed takeoff system, by which I mean the dolly, the landing dolly, just falls away naturally under the force of gravity. One less thing to worry about when you come to take off, and that works very, very well. If you are flying from bumpier fields, you'll probably want to invest in the now optional magnetic release system, and there will be a video showing you how to install that and how that works a little later on as a Mod Tech Monday. We've also got a video beneath this showing how the optional rocket system installs. That's a worthwhile addition if you're looking for some extra thrills and authenticity. But this has been the official flight review on the new Durafly Me-163 V2. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we look forward to your comments below this, and we look forward to many of you enjoying the now V2 version of the Komet. Thank you very much and goodbye. One last thing, I think we might have a little bit of time. I will give you a little flight demonstration of the 3S now as we sign out.